Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine for a moment being able to perceive something that is completely invisible, to your eyes anyway, something that, almost without anyone noticing at first, changes the whole course of history, saves countless lives, and then just quietly reshapes our modern world.
It's quite a thought, isn't it?
It really is. Today, we're diving deep into the mind and the groundbreaking work of a man who did just that. Made the invisible visible, Robert Watson Watt, and his incredible invention, radar.
It's truly fascinating when you think about it. How a simple scientific curiosity, something that seemed, totally separate from global conflict brewing at the time,
Right.
ended up becoming maybe one of the most pivotal tools in a period of just unprecedented crisis. What we'll explore is not just what he created, but the huge ripple effect of it.
Yeah, how things connect.
Exactly. How these different areas of knowledge can suddenly come together and forge something truly revolutionary and incredibly impactful.
Absolutely. So our mission today, really, is to take you on a journey through Watson Watt's unique way of thinking, his problem solving, his relentless work, and the incredible, almost strategic way his insights gave a whole nation this invaluable advantage, maybe even the decisive one.
Arguable, yeah.
We're going to try and pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from our sources, basically give you a shortcut to understanding the man, the science behind it all, and the just pervasive impact of radar. Expect some surprises, some aha moments, hopefully.
And we'll look beyond just the story, the history, right?
Yeah.
We'll explore why his approach to innovation mattered so much, connect the dots between, fundamental science and its really dramatic, sometimes life-saving applications.
Yeah.
It's a story that really makes you think about where real ingenuity comes from. It's not just discovery, it's applying that discovery when it counts.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting, and honestly quite inspiring, too. We're talking about a man, Robert Watson Watt, born 1892, Brecon, Scotland.
Humble begins.
Exactly. Not born with a silver spoon, didn't suddenly appear as this towering genius of abstract thought. His superpower, if you like, was just pure curiosity. You can trace it right back. His childhood fascination with thunderstorms. He wasn't just watching. He was captivated by the lightning, the thunder, what he called the mysterious energy in the sky. He wanted to understand it.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture of scientific discovery, it really shows how just basic observation.
Yeah, just looking.
Just looking at a thunderstorm and wondering, how does that work?
Yeah.
That can spark truly revolutionary ideas.
Yeah.
But he wasn't just passively wondering, right? He had this persistent, questioning mind.
He kept digging.
He did. His
Yeah.
education, physics, electrical engineering at University College, Dundee back then, and then his work at the British Meteorological Office, that became the perfect crucible for this obsession.
Right.
He wasn't looking for a weapon initially.
Yeah.
He was studying spherics, they called them, these natural radio bursts from
It
something.
could track storms.
Exactly. Track distant storms, improve weather forecasting, especially for aircraft safety. So he was already laying the groundwork, developing this whole new way of sensing the environment using invisible waves. The huge implications came later.
Okay.
But that early work gave him the technical chops, the understanding of radio waves, and the practical context for what radar would become. It shows how breakthroughs can come from applying existing knowledge in totally new ways.
So, okay, let's jump forward a bit. Early 1930s. Scientists generally knew by then that lightning, these huge electrical discharges, they weren't just light and sound.
Right, established science.
They were also powerful radio transmitters, basically, sending out bursts of electromagnetic energy that travel for miles. Everyone knew this. But here's the leap. Watson Watt looks at this known thing, and he asks a question that is just brilliant in its simplicity, really.
Yeah.
He says, okay, if lightning can be detected miles away using radio waves, could we do the same thing with airplanes?
Boom. Right there. And this immediately raises a really interesting point about innovation, especially when you're facing, a potential war.
The pressure's on.
Absolutely. The British military at the time, they were worried about air power, bombers specifically. And they were actually putting money and effort into thinking about, death rays.
Seriously. Like sci-fi stuff.
Pretty much. They wanted something offensive, something to literally shoot down enemy planes with energy beams. A very direct, destructive approach. Watson Watt's genius was turning that whole idea on its head.
How so?
Instead of destruction, he proposed detection. He shifted the whole focus. Forget trying to zap planes out of the sky. What if we could just know they were coming?
Information as the weapon.
Precisely. Defensive information. Which turned out to be far more strategic and ultimately way more effective for defending the country. He realized knowing where an enemy plane was maybe more powerful than trying to blast it with some fantasy ray gun. And just like that, the concept of radio detection and ranging radar was born. It was a complete shift in military thinking.
Yeah.
From how do we destroy to how do we know? And that knowledge, well, no, it changed everything.
Okay, so he has this incredible idea. Revolutionary.
Yeah.
But an idea is one thing, right? Making it work, proving you can actually see the invisible. That's the real hurdle.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
The military, they were interested but skeptical. They basically said, all right, show us. So 1935, just 4 years before World War II kicks off.
The clock is ticking.
Definitely.
Yep.
Watson Watt and his assistant Arnold Wilkins, brilliant guy too,
Yeah.
they set up this test. And honestly, it sounds almost ridiculously simple now.
Compared to today, yes.
They pick a field near Daventry, middle of England. They set up a basic radio transmitter, just sending out continuous radio waves. And then they waited.
Holding your breath, probably.
I bet. They were waiting for an RAF Hayford bomber, big, slow plane, perfect for a test to fly overhead through the beam.
You can almost picture them, can't you? Standing there watching their equipment, which was basically just an oscilloscope showing this little line of light.
Pretty basic.
Very basic. But as that bomber flew through the invisible radio beam, the waves hit the metal body of the plane, and they bounced back, reflected.
An echo.
An echo, exactly. These reflected waves were picked up by their receiver, and on that oscilloscope screen, the little line of light jumped. A blip.
Oh.
It was crude, sure, but it was undeniable. It was proof. They couldn't see the plane with their eyes yet, but they could see its presence, its movement, using just invisible energy.
Incredible.
And it proved the fundamental principle. Send out a radio wave, listen for the echo, detect stuff at a distance,
Okay.
and by measuring the time it took for that echo to come back.
You know how far away it is.
Exactly, like shouting into a canyon, right?
Yeah.
The longer the delay, the further away the wall.
Yeah.
Simple physics, but applied brilliantly.
So this test works. It's not just theory anymore. It's real. And the government, they saw it immediately, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. They recognized straight away they'd struck gold. That Daventry test wasn't just a science experiment succeeding. It opened their eyes to the massive strategic possibilities.
And they moved fast.
Incredibly fast. No messing around. Within months, literally months of that 1935 test, Watson Watt was put in charge of building a whole chain of radar stations. This wasn't lab work anymore. This was critical national defense infrastructure.
Along the coast.
All along the coast. From the south coast, Isle of Wight, right up the east coast to Scotland.
Yeah.
The famous chain home system.
Chain home. Right.
And this rapid build-out, it tells you everything about the urgency they felt in the late 30s. This invisible shield they were creating.
Right.
It completely changed the game for air defense.
How so? Specifically, what was the difference?
Well, think about it. Before radar, how did you spot enemy bombers? You had spotters on the ground looking up, maybe crude sound locators trying to hear engines.
Not much warning time there.
Hardly any. Minutes, maybe, before the bombs started falling. Fighters were often scrambled way too late or just sent up on patrols hoping to bump into the enemy. Total waste of fuel and pilot energy.
Yeah.
Radar gave Britain crucial minutes, sometimes even an hour or more, of advance warning before enemy planes even reached the coast. And in a war of attrition, a war of fast air attacks,
Where every plane counted.
every plane, every pilot, every gallon of fuel was gold dust. Those minutes were absolutely everything.
And it wasn't just there's a plane out there, was it? It was more detailed than that.
Oh, yes. The chain home system could do more than just detect. By timing the echo, they got the distance, the range. The direction the antenna was pointing gave them the bearing, the direction to the target.
So you knew where it was coming from.
Exactly. And soon, engineers figured out clever tricks using the Doppler effect. You know, the way a siren changes pitch as it passes you.
Yeah. Higher coming towards you, lower going away.
Right. They used that principle with the radio waves to get an estimate of the aircraft's speed. Was it heading towards them?
Away? How fast? Wow. So range, bearing, speed. Pretty much everything you need.
It was a huge leap. It transformed defense from being purely reactive scrambling, when you see or hear something, to being proactive.
Strategic.
Totally strategic. RAF could keep fighters on the ground, ready. Then, when radar picked up a raid, they could vector them directly to intercept, saving fuel, saving pilot fatigue, putting them in the best position to fight. It wasn't just a small improvement. It was a fundamental shift, managing resources efficiently. And that efficiency, well, it was about to be tested like never before.
Okay, fast forward. Summer and autumn, 1940. This is it. The Battle of Britain.
The crucible, as you called it.
Yeah. Nazi Germany is throwing everything it has across the channel, wave after wave of bombers, fighters, day after day, night after night, trying to smash London, break British spirit, force a surrender.
A terrifying time. The fate of the nation really did hang in the balance.
And without radar, if the RAF had still been relying on just eyes and ears, they were already massively outnumbered by the Luftwaffe.
It would have been catastrophic. Flying blind, scrambling randomly, wasting planes, fuel, pilots' lives. Unsustainable. Impossible, probably.
So this is where chain home really shows its worth.
Absolutely. And this period, it makes you think, what does winning really mean in war, especially against those odds? Radar didn't win the war single-handedly, obviously.
Of course not. Pilot bravery, public resilience.
And many, many factors. But radar gave them that indispensable edge, that critical piece that allowed Britain to survive that onslaught. It meant the RAF could use its limited fighters with unbelievable efficiency.
Knowing where to be, when to be there.
Exactly. No wasted patrols. Directing fighters precisely to incoming raids. Conserving those precious resources, making sure pilots were ready and in the right place.
And it wasn't just the tech, was it? There was a whole system behind it.
Yes, the Dowding system, named after Air Chief Marshal Dowding. It was brilliant. Radar stations detected the raids. That info was relayed instantly to filter rooms, then plotted on huge maps in command centers. Real-time tracking.
Like a modern air traffic control center, almost.
In principle, yes, but built under immense pressure for war. This intelligence then went out to the fighter sector stations, who'd scramble specific squadrons, often still on the ground, engines cold, telling them exactly where to go, what altitude, to meet the enemy.
Precision deployment.
Unbelievable precision for the time. It was a force multiplier. It let Britain hold the line against overwhelming numbers. It was absolutely fundamental to turning the tide.
Which leads to that famous Churchill quote.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few, referring to the RAF pilots.
Yeah.
And as our sources rightly point out, Watson Watt was truly one of those few, maybe not in the cockpit, but he provided the eyes, the man behind the curtain, giving them that vision beyond sight, his invention. It wasn't just tech. It was a quiet hero of the battle. It made resistance possible.
Amazing. So after the war, his contribution, it was recognized.
Oh, definitely. He was knighted for his work. Sir Robert Watson Watt. A huge, undeniable contribution.
But the story doesn't stop there, does it? Radar didn't just fade away after 1945.
Not at all. Far from it. Those core principles, developed under the intense pressure of war, they quickly found their way into countless civilian uses, things we now completely take for granted.
Right. It's a common theme, isn't it? Wartime tech finding peacetime uses.
A very powerful theme. Just think about weather radar. Absolutely vital for forecasting storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, giving us warnings that save lives.
Can't imagine weather forecasts without it now.
Or aviation. Global air travel relies totally on radar for navigation, for keeping planes safely apart in crowded skies, for efficient routing. Air traffic control. It is radar, fundamentally, orchestrating millions of flights safely every single day.
And beyond that, ships.
Marine navigation, absolutely. Seeing through fog, detecting other ships, icebergs, coastlines, made sea travel so much safer. Then you have things like ground-penetrating radar for archaeology, finding buried ruins.
We're finding pipes before you dig.
Exactly. Construction uses it all the time. And maybe less dramatically, but still impacting daily life. Police speed guns.
Ah, yes. Those.
All direct descendants of Watson Watt's work, making the invisible visible. It changed how we travel, how we predict weather, how we stay safe in so many ways.
Okay, and just when you think you've got the measure of the man, the scale of his invention, there's this brilliant little anecdote, isn't there? A lovely ironic twist.
There is. It's fantastic. Years after the war, Sir Robert had moved, I think he was living in Canada for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And one day, he gets pulled over by the police for speeding.
Oh, no. You can see where this is going.
Yeah. The police officer, of course, had clocked him using a radar speed gun. His own invention.
That's just perfect. The inventor, caught by his own invention. What did he do?
Apparently, he just burst out laughing. Found it genuinely funny. No anger, just amusement.
That's brilliant.
It really humanizes him, doesn't it? Here's this giant figure, key to saving a nation, caught by the most mundane, everyday application of his world-changing tech.
Just how widespread it had become.
Utterly pervasive. And he even supposedly scribbled down a little poem about it right there. Something like, "My little invention traveled far, caught me speeding in my car."
Haha, brilliant.
It's just a great little story.
Yeah.
Shows his good nature, his acceptance of how his creation had woven itself into the fabric of life, sometimes in funny ways. Underscores the sheer reach of his work.
So bringing it all together, what's the big takeaway here? Watt's story. It's more than just inventing a gadget, isn't it?
Oh, much more. It's about the very essence of invention, I think.
Yeah.
Look, he didn't invent radar in a total vacuum. Nobody does. Science builds on what came before.
Standing on the shoulders of giants.
Exactly.
Ooh.
But he was the one who pulled those different threads together, connected the dots in a new way, and crucially made it work, made it practical, usable, and did it when it was desperately needed.
Driven by purpose, not just glory.
Precisely.
Yeah.
He wasn't chasing fame. He was driven by the need to solve this massive existential problem facing his country. And that's a powerful lesson about innovation, right? Innovation with purpose.
Yeah, it really makes you think, what is the essence of invention? Is it just being clever?
I don't think so. It's more than that. It's not just creating for the sake of it or making something novel just because you can. It's about creating when it really matters. Having a clear purpose, believing it's possible,
Seeing a problem?
seeing a problem, maybe one others overlook, and envisioning a solution that isn't obvious, an unseen solution in his case, and then having the drive to make it real.
It makes you look at new developments differently, doesn't it? Asking why.
Exactly. Is this just a new toy or does it solve a real problem? Does it help people? Does it protect us? Does it connect us? Watt's story is a reminder that the inventions with the deepest impact often come from necessity, from curiosity, and from this real commitment to making a difference.
So next time you're on a plane, maybe checking the weather app on your phone or, yeah, even just spotting a speed camera.
Take a moment.
Yeah, take a moment.
Yeah.
Remember Robert Watson Watt?
He was, by all accounts, a humble man. But he looked at the sky, used his scientific insight, that relentless curiosity, and he gave the world a way to see what was completely invisible before.
Changed our whole perception of distance, time, safety.
Fundamentally.
Yeah.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe. What other invisible forces or phenomena are all around us right now? Things that maybe with just a bit of that same curious observation, that same questioning mind, could unlock the next revolution. What else is out there just waiting to be seen?